Hi guys. Last video was a bit rough, wasn't it? It was it had recently happened, and I was pissed off, and I didn't have a script. It was from the heart, so I made a script, and I apologize for what I did at the end of the video. So I now made a script, and we're gonna go talk about that, right? So I want to talk about something that has been bothering me for a very long time. And I want to make one thing clear before I start. This isn't me saying that every woman is like this, and it isn't an attack on women as a whole. I'm talking about a pattern I've personally experienced over and over again, and how that pattern has affected me as an autistic man. I'm autistic. I live in the Netherlands, and I struggle to find and keep employment. I am educated as a gardener. I have tried working. I worked as a dishwasher in a restaurant for a year, but I was considered too slow and my contract wasn't renewed. I received disability benefits through the Dutch UWV system. It isn't as though I contribute nothing or have absolutely no income, but because I don't have a conventional job, apparently that one fact can completely change how somebody sees me as a potential partner. And this is where dating becomes incredibly painful for me. There's a question I have genuinely come to dread. What do you do for work? I used to think that was just a normal getting to know you question. Now I almost see it as a warning sign because I know what tends to happen next. Recently, I was talking to a woman I really liked. We had been talking for quite some time, and eventually the inevitable question came up. What do you do? So I decided not to lie. I told her that I'm autistic and that I'm on disability because of it. I explained the Dutch system. I explained that I actually want to work, but that I've struggled to find employment that accommodates me. I told her that I take care of my pets, I walk my parents' dog when they can't, and I maintain my grandmother's garden. I told her about the work I've tried to do, and I even tried to make some humor about it. I basically described myself as a house husband who still brings in an income. Her response wasn't cruel, and that's actually what makes it so difficult. She told me she appreciated me. She told me that I was an amazing person, but then she said somehow I'm not okay with that. And there it was, the job. The thing that apparently outweighs everything else. It doesn't matter that I'm kind. It doesn't matter that I'm affectionate. It doesn't matter that I'm loyal. It doesn't matter that I take care of animals. It doesn't matter that I help my family. It doesn't matter that I want to become a father and build a family. It doesn't matter that I've spent years trying to improve myself. Apparently, if I don't have the right employment status, I'm not relationship material. And I've experienced versions of this for more than 20 years. That's why this isn't just one woman. This is a pattern that has become so familiar that I can almost predict the conversation. First, I'm told I'm a nice guy. I'm told that I'm a great guy. Sometimes I'm even told I'm attractive. And then comes the question, what do you do? And when I explain the reality of my situation, suddenly I'm no longer good enough. And that's where I want to talk about something uncomfortable, ableism. Because When a person cannot work because of a disability and that inability to work becomes a reason to exclude that person from relationships, what exactly are we talking about? I'm not saying somebody is obligated to date me. Nobody owes me a relationship. Everybody is allowed to have preferences. Everyone is allowed to decide what they want in a partner. But I think we should at least be honest about what those preferences mean. If somebody says, I need a partner who earns a certain amount of money, that's a preference. But if a person they're rejecting is unable to meet that requirement specifically because of a disability, then I think it's completely reasonable to ask whether disability discrimination is part of what's happening. And this gets even more complicated when we talk about gender expectations. We've spent decades fighting for women to have access to education, careers, financial independence, and high paying professions. And I support that. Women absolutely should have those opportunities. But sometimes I look at modern dating and see a contradiction. Some women, understandably, want complete financial independence for themselves, including keeping their own income and finances separate. But at the same time, some still expect the man to be the provider, to pay for the home, the food, the bills, and the family. And if a man can't fulfill that traditional provider role, suddenly he is not desirable. That's where I struggle to understand the logic. If we're moving toward equality, shouldn't relationship also be moving towards partnership? Why does the man necessarily have to prove his value through his paycheck? Why can't people simply decide together how they're going to divide responsibilities based on their circumstances? Maybe one person earns more. Maybe the other person takes care of the house. Maybe one person works full time and the other works part time. Maybe one person has a disability. Maybe one person stays home for the children. There are countless ways to build a family. And yet, for someone like me, it can feel as though society has given me a very specific message. You can be a good person. You can be loving. You can be loyal. You can want to be a father. You can take care of a home. You can take care of animals. You can try to improve yourself. But if you don't have a job, you're still not enough. And that hurts because I've tried. I quit smoking 8 years ago. I quit drinking 6 months ago. I've started lifting weights and running because I want to become healthier and lose weight. I've tried working. I've tried dating. I've tried improving myself. And sometimes I honestly find myself asking, why am I doing all of this if the answer is still, you're not good enough? That's the part people don't necessarily see. When you reject someone because of their employment status, you might think you're simply saying we're not compatible. But when that person has spent years being rejected for the exact same reason, it starts to feel like something much bigger. It starts to feel like society is telling them your disability makes you less valuable. And that's a horrible message to receive over and over again. I don't expect anyone to date me out of pity. I don't want that. I don't want someone to say, I'll overlook the fact that you're disabled. I want someone who looks at me and thinks, this is the person I want to build a life with. Not because of my paycheck, not because of my job title, but because of who I am. And maybe that's the most frustrating part of all. I'm not asking anyone to lower their standards. I'm asking whether we should reconsider what those standards actually are. Because if we're serious about equality, inclusion, and accepting people with disabilities, then maybe someone's ability to hold down a conventional job shouldn't automatically determine whether they're worthy of love. I don't know if I'll ever find the person I'm looking for. After 20 years, I'm honestly exhausted. But I know this: I don't want to lie about my life just to get someone to love me. I don't want to pretend I have a career I don't have. I don't want to hide that I'm autistic. I don't want to hide that I receive disability benefits. I want someone to know the truth about me and still choose me. Because I don't think that's asking for too much. I think that's the bare minimum any human being should be allowed to hope for. And if someone hears this and thinks I'm completely wrong, that's okay. But if you're someone who has been rejected because of something you can't simply change, whether that's autism, disability, illness, or something else, I want you to know that I understand what that rejection feels like. And maybe that's the real reason I'm making this video. Not because I expect the world to suddenly change, but because I'm tired of pretending that this doesn't hurt. Because it fucking hurts. And I'm tired of pretending it doesn't. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.